moment I've been waiting for patiently since Thursday. So this is all new right here. TNA, Impact Wrestling. Joe, I can't begin to tell you the amount of feedback I had saw on Twitter and Facebook. AJ Styles, Dixie Carter, the face-off. OMG, Dixie Carter went heel. Dixie Carter went heel. Well, for folks that didn't see this, let's just really break this down, okay? Basically, in a nutshell, folks, and we should point out, Impact Wrestling, Joe, I don't know if you would agree with me, but just minus that final segment, it was actually a pleasant episode. I actually enjoyed it, but at the same time, and I know you said you read the article there, I felt a little melancholy in some areas. I mean, ODB, of course, she became Knockouts champion, defeating Mickie James. I'm happy for ODB, but at the same time, it's kind of like, okay, look, let's be for real. ODB is a champion of nothing because Mickie James, she's not signing a new deal with TNA Wrestling right now, and it's kind of leading on those to get the impression that maybe she's going to be looking for a deal elsewhere. Some even speculating that maybe she might be able to go back to the WWE. So for TNA Wrestling to possibly lose a piece of great talent in Mickie James, that would be a major blow for them because their current knockout division right now is just ODB. Velvet Sky is doing something with Chris Sabin. It's like, okay, is she going to do double duty or is she just going to be his valet? Because if she's just going to do the valet thing, then you don't have Velvet Sky in the division right now. You go to Brooke Tessmacher, she's pretty much in the same position, except she's being a valet for the Aces and Eights and Bully Ray, so you can't really get her in there as well. So all you have left, last I checked, is Gail Kim, am I right?
Yep, that's all I could think about as well. So looks like we're off for a long, lengthy feud of Gail Kim and ODB, man.
Exactly. And I know fans are going to get tired of that probably after the first two matches. And for those of you that did not read the article that I put out earlier this morning, and I definitely would encourage you guys to read it because I laid it down. Joe, would you agree I laid it down on that review?
You did. It was very well written. It's a must-read, folks. InfinityOneProductions.com. Go check it out.
Yeah, that's all I'm going to say, okay? But let's talk about this whole AJ Styles Dixie Carter segment. Of course, AJ Styles, he said last week that he had a couple of more bombshells that he was going to be dropping on the TNA president, that he hoped that he could do this face-to-face. And we see AJ Styles, he's basically talking about how there used to be a time where TNA basically, it meant something, how he remembers the Nashville days as he's pretty much the lone wolf, if you will. He's the last outlaw, if you will, from time in TNA that's now long gone, and he bashed the TNA president for bringing in MMA fighters, while guys like Petey Williams, who's another names that he mentioned there, Joe? I know Petey Williams was one.
Jay Lethal.
Trying to think of one more name.
Yeah.
Jerry Lynn.
Low-key. Yes, and Jerry Lynn.
Yeah, Jerry Lynn, low-key. He mentions these guys that basically were out of a job, basically for an exchange of MMA fighters, and he's basically bashing Dixie Carter's business decisions and saying how she doesn't eat, sleep, live wrestling, as one day in her adult life she just woke up, rolled out the bed and said, I want a wrestling company, and basically went to Daddy to have him bust open the checkbook and make it happen, and that she doesn't know a damn thing about wrestling. Now, pause. Folks, doesn't this sound familiar? It sounds a lot like what was being said in the hashtag #AgsDixie, which was just a PR disaster. But we see the TNA president, Dixie Carter, come out, and she pretty much tells AJ Styles, you know what? When you really think about it in retrospect, she's basically saying to AJ Styles, you ungrateful fucking bastard. After everything that I have done for you, you wouldn't have the nice house that you have right now if it wasn't for me and my daddy. This would not be the so-called house that AJ Styles built if it wasn't for me. And just what exactly have you done that was so phenomenal lately? Because quite honestly, you haven't been phenomenal for several years. She was really bringing it home. She was basically kind of giving AJ Styles a little bit of a reality check. And, we see Dixie Carter sit up and say that basically this is her company, that it's the house that she built, basically putting AJ Styles in his place, and basically even jumping out there as far as to say if she could have had it her way, he would pretty much still be in his trailer home or whatever like that. And we saw the show close out with AJ Styles basically telling Dixie he knows a good place where she could put her mic, as she told the cameraman to cut the feed off, darken the lights. The show just goes off. So we have a sea of people that are sitting up in there going, oh my God, Dixie Carter went heel. And I'm saying to myself, Dixie Carter did not go heel. Dixie Carter did what any fucking employer would have done to an employee that kind of got out of line, except they would have brought you into the office and they would have let you have it. They would have given you a reality check so that you make sure that you don't go out of line next go round. That was really my take on that. I don't really know, Joe, if you were really picking up this whole Dixie Carter heel turn, but I definitely want to just pause and let you run right with it, because I know you've been eagerly waiting to talk about this as well.
Well, actually, just listening to your soliloquy there, I couldn't agree with you more. Where did she go heel? She did what any boss would do. And this is AJ Styles trying to play the role of CM Punk here. I'm going to start calling him CM Styles now. Come on, guys. There's no heel turn here yet. I'm going to say yet. We don't know what the future holds. But no heel turn. I didn't get that either. She did what she was supposed to do. She showed that she has the cojones, as they say, the intestinal fortitude to be a boss. And she stands by her decision. And I applaud Dixie Carter for coming out and saying what she said. It was nice to see fire out of her for once. So now it has me wanting to watch Impact Wrestling next week with that fallout. So I'm gonna applaud TNA right now and going in this direction. It was nice to see. Now I'm excited now as a fan to see an alternative to, I guess, a Vince McMahon or a Triple H's Reign of Terror. I want to see what the other show's doing, how they can top it. It's pretty nice to see. I'm excited about it.
One thing that I pointed out in the article that we need to stress here tonight, or this afternoon, are we concerned about AJ Styles' legacy in TNA wrestling? Because there wasn't enough words to really go into it like that. So I definitely want to go more in depth about that. I mean, it seems like every time we turn around, AJ Styles becomes relevant nowadays thanks to Dixie Carter. I mean, let's not forget we had the whole Claire Lynch thing, and before that it was Dixie Carter having an affair with AJ Styles. It seems like ever since Dixie Carter has made, her first appearance on Impact back in, 2009, to talk about the signing of Bobby Lashley and all that, it seems like she's gotten more hands-on as far as an on-screen character goes with the product, and we see her involved with AJ Styles. I don't know about you, but I can't help but think about the AJ Styles fans and put that question out there. Is Dixie Carter really helping AJ Styles' career, or is he hurting it? Because I think if they're going to continue down this path of always involving him with Dixie, some could make the argument that, well, the only time AJ Styles has been relevant is when he's been paired up with Dixie Carter. Never mind what he did years before, which were definitely phenomenal. He lived up to his phenomenal one little gimmick.
Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair to say. If you're going to put me on the spot right now and ask me that question, is she helping or hurting him? I'm going to need a moment to think about that because I can see both sides to it. You know what? I'm not going to cop out. I'm going to say she's helping him right now. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with the positive route because it's as great of a wrestler as the man is. The man can wrestle any style. He can wrestle anybody. He's a bit bland, in my opinion. He's a bit bland, a little boring. So I guess he needs to feud with the owner. Like he needs to be pissed off about management and ownership to make himself a little relevant, to show why he's the phenomenal one. He's gonna overcome management. He's gonna, I don't know, he's gonna shoot to the top where management doesn't want him to, or something along those lines. So at the moment, I'm gonna say she's helping him more than she's harming him. Maybe about a 65-35% ratio on my end.
Now, the flip side to that, Dixie Carter, we've seen her make more and more appearances on Impact Wrestling Television. Joe, I pointed this out in the article. Now we see, on a typical Impact Wrestling broadcast, we see her get plugged. Follow Dixie Carter on Twitter for all the very latest, blah, 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 blah. We never really hear, follow Gail Kim. Follow the TNA champion, Bully Ray. We don't see that. It's just Dixie Carter. We hear about Dixie Carter, getting involved with some reality TV show. I don't know if it's yet to premiere or what, but I know she was off doing some type of filming for that. Fans are encouraged at some TNA live events to pay $40 to $50 for her action figure so that they get the opportunity to meet her. Keep in mind, they've already spent X amount of dollars on their tickets, on merchandise. Some of them don't really have enough money to be forking out like that to, want to meet the TNA president. But then again, maybe it just depends on who exactly it is, because I think if you were to take that same set of circumstances, $40 to $50 if you buy a Triple H figure or a Vince McMahon figure, and you get to meet them, I think a lot of people would jump more on that as opposed to the TNA president, Dixie Carter, which tells a very interesting story in my book, and I'm just going to leave it at that and let you guys come up to your, with your own conclusions there. But when I just see all these little things that's going on, I have to ask, does Dixie Carter have vanity issues? Is she at a point right now where she wants the spotlight to be on her? Let's not forget, a couple of weeks back, we had primetime Amy Lee on the show, and she revealed some very interesting snippets about Dixie Carter. Now, she was a person that really jumped out there and was brutally honest and said she never had the pleasure of working with Dixie, but she knows so many girls that have come and gone from the promotion that she said that Dixie is one of those type of girls, and this has happened. These are her own words, primetime Amy Lee. She said that there was, one girl who will remain anonymous that was getting her makeup done. Dixie Carter is looking on, and she felt that she was more prettier than she was, had her leave the makeup room so that more time could be put on her, even jumping out there as to say that Dixie Carter is the type of person nobody else can get makeup and all that be applied to them until she has first dibs. Whether she's going to be on television or not, she's going to have her first dibs. So, when you hear all this stuff and you think about the amount of appearances that she's been making, the time she's been hooked up with AJ Styles, being involved in the Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff storyline and all that, is Dixie Carter really that concerned about helping the TNA product, or is this really about getting her name, her face, her likelihood out there?
That's a great question, man. You got to remember who's in her circle. You already mentioned Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff. That's her circle. That's pretty much her inner circle, and that's where she's learning the wrestling business from. And I know Vince McMahon is the one who said this, or maybe it was Eric Bischoff. I don't remember, but one of them said this line: "It takes a son of a bitch to be successful in this business," and maybe she's taking that to heart. So maybe it's not the right way to go about it, the way she is, but I can't say there's a lack of effort on her part on trying to be successful. Maybe she's just trying a little too hard, and she needs to realize that she shouldn't be the spotlight of the company. Like, Vince McMahon is not the face of his company. It's the wrestlers. It's his, his staff. They're the face of the company, where, yes, he is the owner. Everybody's aware of it, but he lets the spotlight shine elsewhere where it's supposed to be, and Dixie Carter has to learn that eventually to become successful. And hopefully one day it'll happen for her.
It's funny because we think about when Vince McMahon was the WWE champion and he vacated the title. Fans don't really bash Vince McMahon. They don't bash Stephanie. And when you think of it, they don't bash him because wrestling has been in their family for years and years, And I can't help but wonder, is Dixie Carter really getting her fair shot at being embraced by the fans? Or due to the fact that, not necessarily because she's a female, because I don't even think her being a female is really relevant, because you see what's going on in promotions like Shimmer, WSU, Shine Wrestling. They're doing phenomenally well. They have females in top executive positions that's helping with the girls and all that. It's really not about whether or not her being a female is that big of a difference. But what I do question is her delivery as an on-air character. Now, I don't know if you would agree with me, but there were times watching that segment with AJ Styles, it seemed as though she was struggling to find the right words to try to really help sell the moment. And I just kind of can't help but wonder, how much rehearsing was done, because if it would have been a little bit more polished, then I probably could have sat up and said, okay, well, maybe she is kind of going heel here. Who knows? But it just seemed like a lot of times she struggled. And as always, Joe, every time we see Dixie Carter, it seems like she usually struggles in her promos. A little bit better than Brooke Hogan, but, in her own right, she does struggle with the promos as well. I can't help but wonder if maybe that might be what it is that's irking fans out the wrong way, aside from the whole she doesn't know how to run a company, because I think that's a stupid argument. I mean, TNA Wrestling, they've been in business now 10, 11 years. They're obviously been doing something right to be able to stay in business this long.
Yeah. She knows how to run a business. She knows how to be successful. She just needs to take it to the next step, and that's where she's going to learn eventually. So let's have faith in Dixie Carter, guys. Don't lose faith. Keep watching the product. It's going to get better.
Let's look into the crystal ball here. Let's say this is the beginning of a heel Dixie Carter. Mm-hmm. Let's say that she's going to create a stable, somewhat similar to what's going on in WWE. Is that what she really needs to get over? Because the way this is looking right now, it's safe to assume that she's going to be involved in some type of a program to possibly derail AJ Styles from becoming champion at Bound for Glory. So is that a direction you think fans will definitely embrace, to see her be in a position where she's going to be on television more and more each week, and she forms a stable to basically try to take out AJ?
I do see that happening. If she was on TV more and more every week and doing promos every week, I think she'd improve. So it would come more naturally to her. So maybe it's a good thing for her to be on TV. Now, if she's gonna get a stable of wrestlers, I'm assuming she's gonna go with Ego here because these guys are also originals who do not share the same sentiments as AJ Styles, and these guys want to take him out, I'm sure. So, and you know what a rib that would be, Ego and Dixie Carter, you know. So I think it'll work.
I must admit, that's the same list of people I was looking at. If she's going to form a stable, you know, why not go for those guys? And I'm not sure what's going on with Rob Terry. Is Rob Terry still under contract to them?
I have not heard anything on Rob Terry, man.
Let me know, see if you can pull up something on Rob Terry. But if Rob Terry is still with the company, he's definitely one I could picture, you know, that can be involved in this. Let him get some camera time as well. But fingers crossed. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not bashing that segment for what it's worth, but I really wish people would get their facts straight. I know the headline looks really catchy. Dixie Carter turns heel. But when you strip it down, she did not go heel, at least not yet, as pointed out by Joe. And for you guys that want to challenge us, if you still have Impact Wrestling on your DVR, I challenge you, we challenge you, go back, watch that segment. If you don't have it on your DVR anymore, it's okay. Hop on over to YouTube at TNA Impact Wrestling. Look it up that way and just watch that segment for what it's worth. There was nothing in there that was heel.
Right. Now, folks, also look at this. What if AJ Styles is the one who's turning heel, going against the sweet, pretty, innocent Dixie Carter, who's never been bad before? Maybe they're going down that route, and we don't even know it yet. It's interesting to see what happens next